Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are you lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want goals.
I can literally feel the steam coming out your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
The Wednesday Week.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. Tonight, joining me, I've got Ash, Simon, and John, and we're going to try and unpick once again what's been a headline-laden week for Sheffield Wednesday. We've had outgoings, we've had no sniff of any incomings, or maybe we've had a sniff at a new chairman, so we'll see how that goes. My apologies if I sound quite laboured this evening. I'm on the back of a heavy drinking session at Centre Parks with my family. We get together like every year. The two non-negotiables in my family, Simon, are Centre Parks and Christmas. And it's very middle class. It's extremely middle class. But I feel like the British holidays taking a bit of a knock given the amount of people that were there. It was actually quite pleasant to be there. But then all the kids are now grown-ups. So it's just us getting battered for like 3 days. It's bloody awful. How was your weekend, sir?
Very quiet, very lovely. Got slightly sunburned, sat in the garden drinking on Saturday. Yeah, it was nice. Loved it.
Oh, that sounds perfect, mate. Sounds perfect. What about yourself, John? What have you been up to?
Yeah, quite also. I mean, obviously, it's been really hot, and as anyone else on the pod who's got dogs will know, you can't take them out above 20. So we've had to have her in the car with the aircon on. So we've gone for little drives with the dog as opposed to like walks with her.
Is that what you have to do? Do you have to drive the dog around just so it can have some aircon? Is that a thing?
It's just because we can't walk, and so we'll be like, oh well, we'll just stick you in car. It's not a walk, but you're still outside, kind of. So
fair enough. Ashley, what about yourself, mate? You've been working in the in Stoke. What a time to be alive!
I know. Can I do it on a warm Monday in Stoke? The answer's no, because the job went to crap. So anyway,
already you better be
already. I started today. I know. That's how good I am at my job. Yeah, all good. Yeah, weekend was good. Yeah, didn't really get up to much. But I will give a shout out to the Granny's football shirt shop that I went to yesterday. Fantastic, mate. Really good. Anyone? I think he does them once a month. If anyone's in the area, when you see it advertised, go and see and go and buy some shirts.
Is it a Sheffield-based thing, Ash, or does he kind of tour around? Tell me about it.
He's a Wednesdayite, and it's in the Steamworks, which is just off Randall Street, which is opposite Bramall Lane. So I had to have a deep clean when I come home, obviously.
Incognito.
Yeah. Incognito. But yeah, it was a warm day, but it was red hot. So it was all right. It was good. Loads of shirts, not just Wednesday ones. Obviously, all sorts. Italian, international, South American, all sorts, mate. It was fantastic. So I highly recommend having a walk around and a chat. It was good.
Sounds like my wardrobe in 1994 when JJB Sports was rattling every shirt you could think of off for a tenner at some point. I bought them all. So listen, it's not been a tumultuous week. There's been some news, some good, some bad, some meh, and we're going to try and unpick it. Don't forget to get involved in the comments. Ash is going to be manning them this evening. And we're going to be, I'm after some feedback on this because I don't know if I sit in the same camp as a lot of people about certain pieces of news as what I've seen on X this week. So nothing really happened. So we did up to Monday last week, obviously, because we recorded Monday night. So the first day back was Tuesday, and it started with some woeful news, Simon. So I think it was Alex Miller had the best week off he could pick. In terms of annual leave, but it was reported in the Sheffield Star that Wednesday they accepted terms in principle with Rangers, and Jerry Gasama was keen with personal negotiations, and they were described as a formality. And then I feel like he was snapped in a picture in their training gear. This is going to be obviously an opinion dividing. An opinion dividing sale, given the financial situation. And there's an element of, if we're selling people, which is what we've told him to do, and have a sustainable club and stuff like that. Is 2.5 million, which was the figure that was mooted, quite cheap? Or is it kind of like par for the course, given the temerity of the issues, the circling of the drain that the club's doing, and how much will we miss him, and things like that? Let's try and do a balanced view on it, Simon. What do you reckon?
Right, I'm fully on board with the fact that we've got to start looking at some point selling players. We've gone on far too long now of turning big deals down for players when they've actually got some sort of value. But what sticks in my throat is the value of this asset. The fact that out of the young lads coming through, I would have said Gasama was worth far more than 2.5 million in the current market. I mean, basically, what can you buy for 2.5 million now in regards to the players for the championship, etc.? So
Yeah,
for me, it seems like a bargain.
It does seem like a bargain when you look that we got 8 million quid for Lucas Zhao.
Yeah. I mean, although he did sell Zhao to one of his mates, and he probably never paid us for him, and because that seems to be the way, doesn't it? It'll probably come out in a few years' time that we never actually got that money, or where did it go?
So what about impact on the pitch then? Do you feel like he did enough? Because for me personally, right, I think Jeddy Gassama had his foibles settling in that first season. Last season, he had a rich vein of form for about 4 or 5 months. It was incredible. And then towards the back end of the season, he went back into his flopping, he's taking a dive and stuff like that. The man is a handful, don't get me wrong. There's no slight on Jeddy Gassama as a player and when he meets Sheffield Wednesday. It's more... I'm just thinking, is this the type of thing we should be doing, buying them young and selling them on for an extortionate amount of money? But we paid £3 million for EK Ugbo. Like, where does 2.5 million kick in? It's a bit opportunistic from Rangers, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think they were supposed to be at the St. George's training camp at the same time as we were. Personally, again, I'll go back to the 2.5 million wasn't enough money for him. He did start off really well, but then his sticky patch came when the rest of the team's sticky patch came, which was sort of January onwards, where, to be honest, there weren't many players who played very well from January onwards, were there really? No. It really does sort of stick in the throat. Although, has it actually been confirmed he's gone? Because the ITK says he has, then he hasn't. He was shown wearing a Rangers shirt.
Yes,
it's bizarre. It's a very bizarre transfer.
Some sleuths online, John, found that that training top available in the club shop and went, "That's the one. That's what it is." He's gone to see his new pals down the road at St. George's Park and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But then, I'm going to fast forward a little bit as we get to the 12th of July, 4 days later. It was delayed. It was delayed because all of a sudden it got announced, and we'll get to that in a bit. Danny Rohl might be coming back, and that hinted heavily that the club might be changing hands. And we were linked heavily with John Textor and Fertitta. So there's an element of, hang on a minute, you're not getting a fire sale player from us, right?
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, there's so much appears to be going on. There's so many different pieces of news and rumours or whatever it coming from different sources that we don't know what to believe. We know Anthony Musaba's gone. We've seen that. That's cast iron. He's gone. But Gasama, we know that he's been linked with Rangers. And then comes the question: why are we selling him? Well, obviously, there's a financial trouble, but then we're being told that somebody might be coming in for us and will send an advance payment in to cover players and staff. And so then there's rumours of, well, maybe that's what's happening, and maybe that's why it's not being confirmed. And then you hear rumours that Gassama's being seen in a Rangers top, and no one seems to know what's going on. And I agree 110% with what Simon's saying there. It's like there's nothing wrong. We've been clamouring for this club to buy young and sell, and then buy them young and cheap and sell them high, but under the right circumstances. This just feels
that's
like
the phrase, isn't it?
Vultures circling the carcass, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just easy pickings. We've had it before in previous times. We've had to ship players out for next to nothing or let the contracts wind down and stuff. But with Gasama, 2.5 million is, on the face of it, doesn't seem like very much at all. And he was arguably our most promising young player, along with Musaba and possibly Pierce Charles, who might be the next one getting linked to the way if things don't pick up soon. So it's very disheartening, and I just wish there were a bit of clarity to come, because we just don't know what's happened with the club. Are we getting bought? Is somebody in for us? If there is somebody in for us, then surely that person or consortium people, whatever it may be, surely they'd want somebody like Gasama to stick around, because he's still only 21, maybe something like that. There's still a lot that you don't know what you could develop into. So it's all very strange to me.
It is. Ash, 21 years old, used to play for Paris Saint-Germain, has excited us a lot. And John's spot on there in terms of, yes, buy him on and buy him in and sell him on, but the circumstance and the price has to be right. What are the comments saying, and what do you feel?
I agree with you. I think he is a promising player, and under the right circumstances, he'd be here for another couple of years, and then maybe the £10 million mark type thing if he progresses as he has done. I agree with you that he did fall off at the end of the season, but it was still his best season of the two. His contract was running out next year as well, weren't it? So if he wasn't going to sign one, then you've got to sell him, haven't you, this summer, regardless of what the situation of the club is.
Yes, I was going to put you on the spot and ask you that, mate. Is it a case of get some money for him before he F's off on a free?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that would, for how peed off we'll be now for letting him go for $2.5 million. If we'd got 30 odd games out of him, 4 goals and 6 assists next season, I don't know, or whatever next season, return, and then he went on a free. People will be peed off that the owner, because that's who it is, because there's no one else making decisions, is there? And I think that's one of the holdups with this transfer. Who is making these decisions? There's no one there going, yes. If it is, as believed, Chansiri didn't sign a piece of paper or delayed on that, then that's where the rumours come for. If a new owner's coming in, do they want to come in and buy somebody? Buy a club who's probably one of the top 3 assets is being sold for peanuts. You won't want that, would you? You want to make sure that I'm going to buy this club for whatever you're asking for. That means I want everything, not you selling off the crown jewels just before I buy it. So.
Absolutely. It does sound like a bit of a last-minute cash grab, doesn't it, Si?
The thing you've got to hope for if it goes through is there's a sell-on clause, that this kid's going to Rangers, currently the second best team in Scotland, in a league that doesn't tear it up. So you would hope that he would tear that league up.
He'll be a megastar up there.
Yeah, they'll sell him for a fortune, and we get some sort of payback from that, like we did with Antonio when he went. 2.5 million doesn't seem a lot, so I would hope that there's a sell-on clause. But what?
I've got no faith in whoever's making that deal, whoever it is. If it's Chansiri or his son or one of his advisors, whoever's making that deal, I have got no faith in that they will put any sort of
I agree.
Sell on anything like that. It'll be 2.5 million. Yes, we could pay the wages.
Yeah.
Well, that's where that money's going to go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's go into the comments, Ash. Is everybody as skeptical as you are?
No. Karen Bircher said 2.5 million pays the HMRC bill. Is that coincidence?
We ain't got there yet, but I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Chef Cam, 10 years, then Chansiri suddenly starts flogging when he's on his way to the door, getting the bin. But that's exactly what type of thing I was saying.
But you imagine if we're selling Gasama to pay for Wilkes that we didn't fully pay for, to pay for a lad from Norwich for Maywood that we haven't fully paid for, and probably second half loan for Shea Charles as well. You know what I mean? It's like stuff that's like last season and before last season. It's crazy, isn't it?
Awful.
Craig's just said. Stay tuned tonight on Radio Sheffield, saying they still expect the deal to go through from the Rangers end. They expect him to sign for him.
We're given the amount of Rangers podcasts we've done between us, Ash, the last week. I feel like they're all very excited about it. Now, as the week went on, as the week went on, there was updates more about was Middlewood Road ready. There was a contingency plan for players training alone and things like that. And training was still held by Pedersen and reports of Bannon. And then on Thursday, Simon, there was a Alex Miller, I think it was, or the Sheffield Star. My apologies, Joe, if it was you. Revealed a leaked takeover document detailing approximately 4.72 million indebtedness to HMRC, players and other clubs, and absolutely embarrassing. And the worst one, as John touched on, apart from me, is Malik Wilkes. Right, Malik Wilkes. We still owe money for Malik Wilkes. He's been trash when we signed for him. So, and they are now in financial fiduciary trouble. That's for Diarmi. That got his own back in the end. But seriously, they're probably sat waiting for this money, and they're in trouble as a result. Like this is embarrassing, isn't it?
It is. You reap what you sow, Daniel. And it's all starting to come out now, isn't it, in regards to how badly this club has been run. We've known for a while, haven't we? But now there isn't any money, that he has no money. People aren't giving him money to pay. His family aren't financing this through the back door. It's all coming out. I mean, the Malik Wilkes thing is ridiculous. We haven't paid Hull for him, and then we loaned him to Rotherham for the season. So basically, we've given them... That's, when you buy a car, you're supposed to do an HPI on it. So the previous owner didn't owe money on it, because then you become, you have to then pay the money yourself, even though you don't own it. I mean, is that, what have Rotherham been paying us for Malik Wilkes?
And where's that gone?
Where's that gone? It's absolutely batshit crazy. Cannot believe it. And every day gets worse.
Yeah, there's always something new. Ash, but before I go to John, can you Google me the name of that Italian fella that was linked with us in the week, please? I feel like I want you to pronounce it, because I can't remember it, and I'm busy doing this. I'm stitching you up on the internet, mate.
It's on the notes, mate. If you read your notes,
I've got my own notes. Stevie sent me 6 pages. I'm not reading all that. I'm happy it happened. But you use them as you will.
Don't you just basically pronounce Dejphon Chansiri with an Italian accent? Because basically, you may as well be the same man.
Well, there was a reason I asked there, because I found a couple of Turkish articles that, and based on a show we did 2 weeks ago, I found a couple of Turkish articles that this guy, whose name escapes me right now, Mafia Man, we'll call him for the time being, has had previous sporting dealings with Milan Mandaric. So I'll be digging that up and finding out more about that next week. But then later on that Thursday, John, hell of a week for Joe Cran. Later on that, there was reports from TalkSport, and then echoed by the Sheffield Star, or vice versa, probably, that there was that Danny Röhl might be returning, and there was some unrest in his return. Now, there was unrest amongst the fan base, which we'll get into, and I want your comments on it. But there was also key players that were unhappy that Danny's returning. Do you read much into that?
It's a very odd one, isn't it, that, Dan? Because not too many weeks prior to that, we got the story that Danny Röhl had phoned the players up personally to say he's not coming back. Now, if they didn't like him, they'd have seen him Danny call, and they wouldn't have answered, would they? They'd have hung up.
You've got him saved as do not answer in their phone.
So I don't know where this mutiny, for want of a better word, is coming from, where they don't want him to come back, because I remember Bannon speaking about how technically gifted he was as a coach, a great young mind, how he helped him encourage him to become a coach and take his badges and stuff. So unless the relationship soured right towards the end that we weren't privy to, I just find it all, again, a little bit confusing, mate, to be honest. I don't understand.
It can't be confirmed, but one thing that can be confirmed, Ash, is the division it's caused amongst the fan base in terms of Danny's, at this point, rumoured return, which has now come about, if I skip forward a couple of days, that Danny Röhl has returned to work today and he has been taking training. What do the fans have to say about it, Ash? And where do you fall on it? Because me personally, I'm very much, look, he's one of the best coaches we've had in a number of, I wouldn't work if I weren't getting paid. As much as I like my colleagues and I like the people that like my business and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? But there's an element of, I get it, I understand, but because football's different, we want them to subscribe to the whole BS of it, don't we? And we look at things through blue-tinted spectacles. But I know it's caused division amongst the fans, Ash, right?
Yeah, apparently so. I don't know. I don't know where I sit on it. I'm a bit pulled. I understand that working for Chansiri is going to be, as Simon said, batshit crazy. He's not going to be the nicest guy to work for. The frustration's there. But he knew that when he signed his new contract last year, so I'll forgive that one.
But we didn't know the extent of it then, though, either.
We've known him for 10 years, haven't we? Some people. how crap he is. So he extended that, but then obviously not getting paid. I mean, for anyone who doesn't get paid, doesn't matter how much. And we've gone over this for the last God knows how many weeks. Doesn't matter how much money you get paid. If you don't get your wages, that's just not on, is it? Your boss is not paying you what you earn is not on. And then obviously when he left, he was in Germany, he did some interviews and stuff. But you look at those interviews and chats and podcasts and bits and pieces he did, and you could have read him a couple of ways. There was like a big furore over it that he was like tarting himself out, but then the thing is that he moved all his stuff out of his flat a week before and got a flight back out from Watford away. Do you know what I mean? So there is things to it that you wouldn't expect a manager to do if he's coming back this season. But then, is there any rumours in all these that he was talking to all these other clubs and all that sort of stuff? There was lots of opportunity, a lot of manager jobs up for like going for him, but he didn't obviously win them. Did he actually go for him? Did he interview for ones? We don't know, do we? We're just going on hearsay again. It's all the stuff that you look online and make your own decisions from stuff reported, don't you? So I don't know.
Go on, Sam.
I think the problem is it's been building up from January onwards, hasn't it? There was obviously some fallout between him and Chansiri, which resulted in Chansiri doing the fans forum, which was a huge mistake. Then supposedly clear. There were a lot of messaging and interviews between the two saying he knows who I'm wanting and I've not spoken to him. And I think the relationship with the chairman broke down then. And I think the fact that press alluded to the fact that he said, ultimately he wants to manage in either the Premier League or the Bundesliga, and quite open to that. And you can, like Ash said, you can interpret it whichever way. The fact that every time a manager's position came up, his name was mentioned, but he never actually said, "Oh, I'm going for the Leicester job. I'm going for this job. I'm going for that job." That was all hearsay on X. But ultimately, he didn't come back to work. He's 2 weeks late coming back to work. I think the fact that he didn't come back alludes to the fact that he didn't want to come back. The question mark I've got is that if he hasn't found somewhere else, and I think he was hoping that somebody would take him and somebody would pay the clause, whatever it is, 5-10 million or whatever. He's realised that's not happening. He's under breach of contract if he doesn't come back, in which case he has to pay that. What if he comes back? I know it's all if, buts, and maybes, but what if he comes back and then goes and then puts the same sort of performance he did from January onwards? We get 10 matches.
Tanks it.
Tries to get the sack. Tanks it. There's no way we can do it. We sack him. He gets paid out of his contract. It's win-win.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe the Pedersen thing forced his cards as well, because obviously Pedersen
was getting lined up when
he started to stay on, and it was very, very much I love Wednesday, I love Sheffield. It was probably the polar opposite of what Danny's been saying since the end of the season. And that took everybody to heart. And then he thought to himself, shit, I ain't got a job. If I don't come back, I'm breach of contract, I'm stuffed here. And so he's come back.
And unemployable.
Yeah.
Go on, John.
What I find strange is that he's supposedly got this release clause in his contract, but right now, as things stand, we were like days away from that contract being null and void because he hasn't been paid. So why has he come back when he could literally just sit it out and wait to see if we get taken over or not?
I think that's the question. I think he must know something about takeovers.
Exactly.
You know, with all this flag planting that's happened in terms of where they sit on things like that. So there's an element of, I think he knows something. And we've had a lot of heavy rumors the last few weeks, which we'll get into. But in the meantime, before we go to the comments to find out what people are thinking about Danny Rohl.
Hold tight, kids. It's advert time. Hold tight, kids. It's advert time.
Take it away, Ash.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Wednesday week, and I'm going to bring up some comments. So, Hurgle McGurgle on what I said about Danny Rohl says those interviews were generic. On the flat issue, who says the club would cover the rent anymore? It's a fair point.
I agree.
Owen, players weren't paid and they just got on with it. Went through the proper process, handing in their notice, but haven't said a peep.
Right. Yeah. Just on the back of that one, Ash, let's look at a player like Barry Bannon, right? Who, let's say he goes to Derby County. He's not going to get the same money with the same increments that he's had over the last 10 years playing for someone else. Now, on one hand, if he's not getting paid, you know, even if he's getting paid half his salary playing for X club, that's a percentage. That's a percentage of what he was getting paid, as opposed to a percentage at F all. You know what I mean? So there is an element of that as well. There is an element of self-preservation. But I use Barry as a bad example there because I know he genuinely enjoys the area and the club. But it's not all black and white, is it? Carry on, Ash.
He don't love it that much. He's never lived in Sheffield, has he? So, so other people. Craig Turton, no one knows if Rohl been paid. He's our biggest asset, but he should have been with the squad at the start of pre-season.
Yes.
I don't know what you guys think, but obviously Nat has said rumour has it that Danny got paid so DC could get the 5 million. I think we've heard that a lot, haven't we? If he's your biggest asset or biggest income could be, if someone comes in for him 5 million, you're going to try and pay him on as much as you can. But hey ho. Jay Blogs, out of everyone, it's obvious Danny has been paid to secure the exit clause off. That's everyone's, well, not everyone's, quite a few comments regarding that. Yeah.
Okay, so Danny Rohl returned to work. We'll probably get back into that in a bit. So let's go back another day after we've jumped forward again. So the 10th of July, reports emerged via Inside Football that Musaba had agreed terms with Turkish Super League side Samsunspor and was about to head to Istanbul for his medical. Then on 12th of July, Joe officially announced the deal. And there it goes. Antina Musaba plays in Turkey now. He plays for Samsunspor. I feel like Turkey is doing something. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something.
You know what they're doing, Dan. You've been enough times.
Yeah. So quite directly, I've paid for that. You know what I mean? I think between Si and I went to Turkey about 6 times last year, didn't we?
I think we did. Well, I came back older.
That picture of Musaba you just flashed up for though, he's not going for hair and he's not going for his teeth doing it because he's got both in abundance. So he's going for the football.
He's going for the money of the football. He's going to go and get paid. Now, John, is Anthony Musaba a loss?
Yeah, I think he is, because when you look who's left behind, I mean, we've got Kabaki who got injured and we can't get a proper reading on him right now. He's got a lot to show, hasn't it?
With Kabaki, there's a lot of huff and puff, but no real output.
He's not shown a lot, has he? To be honest. Now, obviously, we're waiting on to see what happens with Gasama. So, who's the wingers? You know, who are we going to get on there? I mean, you know, Marvin Johnson's legs went about 3 years ago, so we can't rely on him anymore. So,
and plus, they're down the M1 as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think he's a loss because we haven't got anyone to replace him. If somebody had come through the academy and was sitting there, and you think, well, you know, maybe this guy can step up, then yeah. But I mean, there's not much to speak about academy-wise. We've got a few young lads signed, but it feels like their emergency signing is to put a side together, doesn't it? If the worst happens, we're going to roll out the kids.
And I feel like that's what they were a couple of weeks ago before all these takeover rumours started circulating. Sorry, I cut somebody off there. Was somebody about to add something? All right, no worries then. It might have been me just talking. And so, the official retained and released list on the 12th of July said that Musaba is gone. Antina Musaba's gone. Simon, just have last word on Antina Musaba, because he had a poor season last year in spite of having a very good season relative in terms of our fighting off relegation season. When it came to fighting for mid-table and even pushing for the playoffs, he didn't really turn up last year, did he?
There was a great player in there. Again, I'll go back to his value. And they've said an undisclosed fee, haven't they? And this is the worrying thing again, because I think under the right tutorage, he would have been as good as he was that first season. Was he our high scorer? And he sort of got overshadowed by Gasama. And he's gone to Turkey, and my God, they were out in the streets, weren't they? Wanting him, this player that's come from Sheffield Wednesday.
But then again, you've been a Turkey. They love an excuse for a firework and a tear-up party, you know what I mean?
They do. It's just the money again. Look, it's the money. We sold him for.
None. So 23 goals in 80 appearances. I feel like Musaba, I agree with you there, Simon. There's a player in there. Ash, are the comments going to miss him? Are the fans out there going to miss him?
No one's really said anything, to be honest, mate. But he did have
says a lot.
But he did have a better season than Gasama last season. His goal and assists thing. So he did have a better season than Gasama with his stats.
He got more goals than you realise,
Yeah. So I mean, we're saying 2.5 million for Gasama, who is 4 years younger. But then you're talking, I think it was about 800 grand, weren't it, for Musaba? And I think he had a sell-on clause as well. So we're going to see about threepence halfpenny for him, or whatever Simon used to get his pocket money.
Go on, John.
I think you're right there when you say there was a player in there, because quite often, if you look back at some of the games and like coming off at half time and even full time, you'd often see Danny Röhl going up and putting an arm around Musaba and having a few words with him. So it seemed like he was a frustrating player for Danny to try and coach, because he knew there was some talent in there, but it was consistently getting it out of him. And I think you could see that a lot with Musaba. And, so it's a shame that we've never got to see it, come to fruition, but there you go.
It is a shame, but like go back to what we said about Gasama, and selling people. Is it the right time? I'm not sure about his contract, and would anyone else come in for him? Do we need the money that much? Do you know, if it is only nearly $1 million, it's not really going to touch the sides, is it? So, and I imagine you weren't going to be on a week either. So.
No.
Frees up space, and whatever money we can get in to pay the shop staff, for example, the people back of house, then you know what I mean.
That's right.
Yeah. Every penny will help. So then, let me go back. We had a secret friendly behind closed doors where the kids played, but we had goals from Jamal Lowe, Jarvis Thornton, and Olaf Kabatsky got one as well. So largely off camera, not a lot to unpick there because we didn't see out. But it's nice to see that the lads are playing some friendlies, because we didn't get that German pre-season tour we were all very excited about. On Sunday yesterday, pre-season coverage was quieted. The club remained in camp mode at St George's Park with fitness and personnel updates ongoing. So, bit of a silence, bit of a day off. We managed to have a bit of a relax, and then Monday happened. So we saw something from Alex in reference to a leaked takeover document that showed just how much money we owed to the HMRC and the wildly circulated shambolic nature of what our finances look like. And like I said, we owe 4.7 million to the HMRC. That's going to be a big one. You can't get away with not paying your taxes. It's not like we can do cash in hand for season tickets, although I think Chansiri did try a couple of years ago. And then Danny Rohl, as we saw, returned back to training. But this has been the news of the week that we've been talking about, and we've got to sit in one camp apparently. So brace yourself, kids.
Hot topic.
So Sheffield Wednesday have had two heavily rumoured takeover, new chairman, people coming in to look at the club and kick the tires like Adam Shaw did. Ash, what was the name of the Italian fella? The Pupilla, was he?
Francesco Garda Guardacione.
I like that. That's what it is.
I think it might be named Frank to his mates.
Let's call him Frankie. Forget about it. He was clearly a mobster boss. Came in and went, and then a few people followed their son, I believe, or something like that. I did see that. But the two main people that came out of this was Tilman Fertitta, who is the owner of the Houston Rockets, and the other one, obviously, is John Textor, which we spoke about last week. That's had his involvement with Crystal Palace, correct? And Leon, right?
Yeah.
So let's have a deep dive into these prospective owners, because I still don't know if they're going to be the ones, because like it should happen, these potential owners are very much they should keep it under wraps, and I feel like that's where Adam Shaw kind of didn't curry enough favor. He said the right things, but because of the outward nature of how he was conducting business, I think it gave a lot of people the ick, to cause to use a modern phrase. So 11th was when it came in. What day was the 11th? The 11th was Friday. He was reported to be in advanced takeover discussions, which is the day that it slowed down with the Gasama transfer. And may temporarily inject funds in order to settle urgent debts, ergo the HMRC. Alan Biggs confirmed that agreement with one party is very close, and that Fertitta is one of the contenders. Credible in terms of knowing his sports ownership, and he could potentially ease Wednesday's dire financial straits, including the HMRC liabilities and the 3-window transfer embargo, with immediate cash or bridge funding. Does anybody know anything else about this man?
He's very rich. He's very rich, and he bought the Houston Rockets for $2.2 billion.
Wow.
So basically, Sheffield Wednesday, a small change behind the sofa compared to what his investment in I'm literally Wikipediaing here. He says he's the richest restaurateur in the world.
Yes.
Because he owns a chain of seafood restaurants in the States.
And casinos. So he's got
casinos.
Money.
He owns casinos. He is a very, very wealthy man. So, like I say, to invest $2.2 billion in an NBA team, Sheffield Wednesday are purely just peanuts. Absolutely. So, and he does seem to be a very astute businessman who knows how to run businesses. When you go in McDonald's and you see the little glass collection thing at the front where you put your loose change in. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what he'd do if he wanted to buy us. Is that minted? He'd just be like, "Oh yeah, here you go. Yeah, oh Sheffield Wednesday." Well,
the archaic PSR rules will put pay to that. I'm sure they will. And then the other one was John Textor. Now, Textor is an American billionaire, best known for his Eagle Football Group, which includes stakes in Lyon, Botafogo, Daring Brussels, and until recently Crystal Palace. Sold his 43% stake in Palace for £190 million. Now, there's some money there. Interest was confirmed on the 23rd of June, because he's our longest standing potential suitor, and he was considering a move. And then we had that interview with Jim White and Simon Jordan, where Simon Jordan was caught wryly smiling as John Textor was asked about Sheffield Wednesday. And he admires Wednesday as a championship level club with Premier League potential. Didn't actually say that he was involved. Didn't use the word massive, so he's off my list. And then there's a statement in here on the notes that says Eagle Football Network benefits. Textor sees Wednesday fitting in well with his roster optimization multi-club strategy, able to benefit from loans and player pipelines from Lyon, Botafogo, and others. Right? Has there been any actual deal? No. Has there been any confirmed involvement? No. And Chansiri is still talking to others until somebody puts their money with the mouth where the mouth is. It's a bit of a Sophie's choice, Ash, isn't it? I mean, where do you have a preferred candidate?
No.
Are you very much in anyone but Chansiri?
Well, it's got to be, hasn't it? You've got to be. No, I'm not anyone, of course, because
not that Italian guy. Stars.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, but the thing is with that, Dan, and I'll stick up for you a little bit here. you got pelters when you obviously asked the questions of Adam Shaw, what he was, and obviously I don't want to say this, but it's looking like you were right, because where is he now? So we should still be asking questions about John Textor and I can't pronounce Fertitta. Fertitta as well. Yes, he's supposedly worth 10.8 billion, but someone, again, if you're looking at on X and everything, his actual only personal fortune is something like 90 million. It's all business that he's
all tied up.
It's so exactly. So if you deep dive in that much into it, then yeah, it's still 90 million more than Chansiri's got, but it's probably not the wealth that you're hoping someone's personal. But then I don't know how running a football club goes, where you would be using your personal money like that. It would be financed through businesses and stuff. So all that. I don't know much about either of them. I know there's lots going on,
but that's the good thing, right? The fact that we don't know anything. We'd love to. Don't get me wrong. We'd all love to, especially on a show like this. We'd love to. But the fact it's being not played out in the public like the Florida-based consortium tried to. I feel like that's a green flag.
Maybe, because these links have come from somewhere, haven't they? These come, and I've seen some of the comments on there saying that Rob Staton tonight on Football Heaven saying nobody can find any link with Tilman to Sheffield Wednesday. There's nothing. So what these things are coming out, whoever's coming out with these things are saying that there's I think Joe announced there was a bid, and then other people have said no, there's no bids. So Joe's obviously got his well-researched and probably people at the club that who confide in him with information that he believes, but then who knows? You just don't know. There's that many people saying things, and I think we've said it on this show, and people have said it all along. And if it don't come from either Rob, Joe, or Alex, it's like they are respected journalists, aren't they? Is it real? Do you believe it? We'd all love to have people linked with the club. These billionaire Americans, or I don't know, not so billionaire Italians. I don't know. It's just getting on my tits, to be honest.
Let's go through some comments, pal, and then I'll come back to Simon and John.
Stu Williams says that's how the ultra rich operate, Ash. Very little liquidity, everything is leveraged against shares and assets. See, I ain't got a clue. I said this last night about his wealth only being $95 million and got attacked for it. 11.2 billion is in assets. It's not about getting attacked, is it? It's just asking the questions. It's just rightly, someone's obviously researched that. Look, I might think, when Chansiri, and we've seen the videos, Chansiri got announced, and there was, I think we were York away when he come in the car, and everyone was singing his name and all that, and probably going into it a bit blind. And I know there's going to be people 10 years ago that had concerns about him. There always is. But you can't not have concerns about people now either. Do you know what I mean? Just we all want to get excited, but it's right to ask.
You would have to be optimistically cautious. You know what I mean? And I feel like,
maybe.
Yeah.
The thing is,
go on, John.
I was just going to say the thing is, we're not looking for the wealthiest person out there to own us. Sure, that'd be great, and if they're going to use that money to its full capacity to benefit Sheffield Wednesday, fantastic. Everybody's on cloud nine, aren't they? What we're looking for is an owner to come in, stabilise the club, make sure that everybody's getting paid. There's no threat of embargoes. There's no threat of points deduction. We're consistently at least around, the playoffs and pushing higher. And there's a long-term strategy for the club, including infrastructure. And
that's all we want.
Yeah, right. That's all we want. But you don't need to be super rich for that, though, do you? We don't need John Textor for that. We don't need, Fertitta for that. We just need somebody who's got a business acumen to put it all together. You don't need to be like the richest person on the planet.
You're absolutely right, John. And this is where Chansiri's failed at the start when he had money, was just running the club badly. Nobody's going to expect Fertitta or Textor to be. Very rarely will we see them. They are not going to be the people who make the decisions. They're going to buy the club and they're going to put correct people in place to run the club. So things like preventative maintenance of the stadium, the fact that the North Stand isn't left for 5 years until it starts falling down and fails its safety certificate. The fact that they will look at the academy ground and the training ground and go, not fit for purpose, let's move somewhere else. All intents and purposes, they might look at Hillsborough further down the line and go, we need to move from here. But we need, we haven't had a group of people running the football club for 10 years. We've had one man who in 10 years has learned nothing at all.
Not a bean.
To the point where he's had the rug pulled from him, from his family. No more money, Dejphon. That is it. Sell the club. Full stop. And that's why we are where we are.
Absolutely. Now, Ash, before I go to the comments, fan sentiment is lukewarm. A poll showed most Wednesday fans would welcome any investor who pays the bills. That's where we are as a fan base right now. Many voiced concerns about Textor's track record, and rightly so, given the way that it's gone with some of the clubs that he owns. And when it was coming out, Adam Shaw was still kicking the tires, and they would prefer the Florida Bay Shore Consortium. This is before Fertitta was mentioned. The track record is mixed. Textor's investments have seen some success. Botafogo in Brazil, Lyon achieving mid-table stability, but there's been also public management controversies and financial delays, and they're all there for everybody to see. So, where do are the fans as cautiously optimistic as we are?
Yeah. Matt Strickland is. Are we all not already wary of seafood merchants?
Good.
Emily's Marsden's been on and saying that Rob has again been talking about Frankie. Yeah, thank you, John. Again tonight, which is concerning. So, yeah, like I said, reputable journalists are talking about people that looks like we don't really want sniffing around the club. But then again, they gave a lot of airtime to Adam Shaw. So
that's the problem, though, isn't it, Ash? You're always going to get these charlatans coming and try and buy the club. We had it before, didn't we? I mean, the Chileno tried buying us, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Mammadov, another sheep,
Jeff Sheard.
And then Jeff Sheard, yeah. And then there's this latest Italian guy, Emptio Pochito, whoever he's called. You know what I mean?
Get out, man. So I think we've got a bit of a hint from Nat how he made his money. So there's Forrest Gump sold Bubba Gump shrimp to him because he owns
shrimp
that.
Sandwiches, shrimp kebab, shrimp gumbo, shrimp on shrimp.
Great. He's in the Textor camp, so he's got his cowboy hat on. J Blogs, Tilman Fertitta would be great. Knows how to make business successful, which is what we need long term.
Sorry, mate. I was trying to. It was all moving. I was pressing buttons. My apologies. There was one there from Paddy Jones there. Paddy's a really pragmatic fella, and I like Paddy. He's part of the New York Owls and lives all out there in and amongst it and things like that. And he says that this Guardisconi appears every year, puts a bid in, falls through when it comes to proving funds.
Yeah.
And like I say, he's got ties with Mandarich in the background as well that you really need to look for. And I urge you, no. I have many red flags with the man.
I'd hope that this company, that whoever has brought this company on board, that have the estate agents, effectively, Blundell's, Spencer's, whatever they are, that are selling Sheffield Wednesday, that they do a fit and proper test and look for funds beforehand. And like you say, this guy's got previous history. So you'll be going, right, okay, let's have proof of funds. And if the Italian guy goes, I've got 2 Fiat 500s and a pizza, then it's a no from me.
We are playing cultural appropriation.
We are. Well, I'm of an age.
Chops off a horse's head and puts it in his bed and makes
We're about 2 jokes away from being banned from playing Nintendo at this rate, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, aren't we? I feel
the guys,
I'm going to end up sleeping with the fishes at some point.
He's going to fail at the first hurdle, isn't he? If they do this stuff right. And we've got a company that's doing it professionally. So, you've got to go to somebody who's got funds. And the other guys have.
Yes, you do. Now, Ash, you've got the big long notes in front of you. Have I missed anything out of that last week?
Quite a bit, Daniel.
There was a lot of shit in there that I just waded through it and went, this is nuts. Go on, give me are there any juicy ones that I haven't touched upon? Because I feel like the Rohl news and the potential takeovers were always going to dominate proceedings this evening, and the fact that we've signed a 14-year-old didn't really register high up on my list.
We haven't signed a 14-year-old. We've what about the football governance independent regulator was passed this week in the Houses of Commons, I think it is. So that's gone. I think so. Clive Betts, your mate, was up there. He was said his bit, and then that's gone through. So that will lead to this independent football regulator coming in, which is supposedly going to help fans against owners. Maybe too late for us, but you never know in the future for other fans of clubs that are going.
Do you know what, Ash? I'm glad you've brought that up, because there is a concern for the football governance for me. Last Thursday I was speaking to Paul Ross at 1 a.m. on TalkSport. I was doing my bit, and we were talking about an independent regulator coming in, and it seems to me like it's going to add another hurdle, another red tape. Does it need some kind of rejig the entire process? Yes, it does. Does the fit and proper test mean anything? No, it doesn't. It's utter trash. As long as you can show your bank statement, there's a few quid in it, you seem to be getting anything. We had a fit and proper test when that geezer went in at Morecambe. We had a fit and proper test when that geezer went in at Portsmouth all those years ago after Milan Mandaric. You know what I mean? So there does need to be change, but adding in another level of just the way you've said it then, Ash, because it smacks to me of the fans forum type of thing, where you've got a load of fans sat there sharpening their knives, ready to go, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing this wrong, and expecting it to become law because they said it. You know what I mean? Mm. And you the way you've just worded it then, fans against owners. Now, there are some ropey owners, but what's the positive side of it? Where's the help inside of it? Because it just seems like there's going to be some bloke that the government has got involved with footballing, because it's a great asset of ours as an export of this country, and they've just got involved. And I have reservations about it. Does it need something like it? Yes. Do I trust the government to put it in, especially Keir Starmer? No, I don't. I don't know. Simon, you're a bit more world-wise than I am. And I don't mean that as a dig, but do you share my opinion on that? Am I being a little too skeptical?
No, absolutely, 100%. I'm going through an experience at the moment with the government in regards to how they put forward construction sites after Grenfell now, and the requirement now of what they call gateway is that all tower blocks over 14 stories have to be passed by the government, and what it's causing is a huge backlog in the construction industry because it's not set up correctly, and you're going to see a lot of construction companies go to the wall because of. And
let's be honest as well. When they put that cladding on Grenfell, the government were involved. It's not like they've gone, wait, there's people just chucking buildings up and we didn't know about it. Bloody hell! You know what I mean?
But the legislation they brought in, and the worrying thing that I see with this football governance is, I haven't seen the breakdown now, and it may have changed, but what I saw previously was that it was going to be broken up of very few fans and more to do with the governing people of Premier League. There was a lot of Premier League clubs, chairmen, etc., who were involved in this governance. And it's a massive closed shop football. They protect each other very much. The Premier League protect themselves. The EFL protect themselves. And if they want somebody to come in or somebody not to come in, they will use legislation against it. And there is a big movement away trying to prevent Americans coming into the Premier League because of the fact is that you can get a block vote, and that could really influence the way the Premier League goes over the next few years in regards to the Americans are very much franchise based. So there's people in this who, probably haven't got a fair representation of what clubs like ourselves, Morecambe, Scarborough, Darlington, Blackpool have gone through, because, look at Chelsea. When Abramovich had to leave because he was forced out of Chelsea, there was a queue of buyers for Chelsea. Mm-hmm. And trust me, if Sheffield Wednesday were an established Premier League team, winning trophies like Manchester City, Manchester United, etc., there'd be a queue of buyers for Sheffield Wednesday. What have we got? we've just got hearsay and ITK and journalists trying to hopefully grab a bit of information and turn it into a story. Look, it might be brilliant, but from my experience of what I've seen governments do in the past, it'll just held up in red tape and clubs will just go to the wall as well as what they've done before.
Yeah, I was going to make this point, but hulking hello as it's got nothing to do with the government. They've just passed the bill. That's why it's independent.
It's independent.
So hang on. But this is my issue with it, Ash. They've made football fans think that it's going to be Alan from Mexborough who's going to be the government regulator in terms of the Sheffield Wednesday end. It's a government mandated position. It's going to be government.
No, not the club wise. The club wise, what they are going to change like the engagement panel of other clubs and Sheffield Wednesday. They are wanting to change how that's set up, and that will be, or I think the thoughts are that supporter groups like the trust and all that have to be FSA members to be on like a new fans forum or engagement, whatever you want to call them, and they have to be a member there. It's going to be very more strictly like tightened up rather than just any old Tom, Dick, and Harry being on them. So, but the actual independent regulator side is not government. The government have had to pass the bill, but then it's not like they're going to put somebody in, or it's I think they've got the chairman, whoever it voted in by, but I don't think it is anything to do with the government.
It's going to be governed by a committee. But this is my issue, right? What if this committee then, let's call it EP, whatever you want to call it, what if this committee says, right, we want just vegan only snacks in the concession stands, and the chairman can't go, no, that's ridiculous. We're going to go alcohol free. And the chairman goes, well, that's ridiculous. But because they've said it, that's coming through. That's the way.
No. It's still going to be able to do whatever individual clubs want to do. It's not like they're going to say, oh, well, I told Chansiri I wanted vegan pies, and then report to this independent regulator. It's on the low level. It's not as thingy as that. It's going to be a higher level for, like someone put in the comments that it's really because the Premier League and the football EFL can't talk. They're very, like Si said, Premier League, I think 90% of them voted against it because of the cost of it, because it's going to cost millions to run this thing. They voted against it, but then the EFL voted obviously for it. And it's for them to get around the table and talk about all the money that gets distributed and all that sort of stuff.
But this is it, right? And who's picking? Where's those millions coming from? The Premier League and their clubs and their independently run, privately owned clubs are not going to sit there and go, here, EFL, here's a load of money for you to pay for your little projecty that you've got going on, your little project. It's not going to happen. And this has always been the long running issue since 1992. It's been rich people looking to get richer, and I am very skeptical of the people that they're going to put in charge. Now, my biggest concern isn't particularly that. It is the biggest. It is one of the biggest. But my biggest one is that is Sheffield Wednesday specifically. And if Sheffield Wednesday get taken over by John Textor next week, let's say, and the regulator comes in after that, right? Sheffield Wednesday's place in the sun, and I use that term very loosely because we're so far from the sun, we don't know what time it is on the sundial, will no longer be referred to as what they call an emergency case. So for all of a sudden, the plight of Sheffield Wednesday would fall down the list. And there is an element of, do we tread water through this shit until the regulator comes in so we can go, hey, we're Sheffield Wednesday. We're one of the oldest clubs in the country. Let's make us a test case. And if we think that's going to happen in the space of a week after this regulator comes in, I am talking 6 to 7 months, maybe a year. That's my concern. Yeah. If a new chairman comes in, will we be an emergency case anymore? Or will it keep the regulator off the new owners back for at least 3 years to F it again? Because I think what we've all decided, and I think what we've discussed at length, and I think what we've all realised as football fans, that rich people, as Charlie said last night, might be somewhat unscrupulous and know how much football is flying around in money. Know how much money is flying around in football, my apologies. And they want it. They want it. The Premier League owners want it.
Want what? What they want? The independent regulator.
Oh, you want to wind up? No, they want the money that's flying around.
No, they want to keep it and almost become a close shot. I think we need it, but the problem that they have is still going to be the problem that already exists, and that is you've got to get 72 clubs to agree on the same rules, because obviously they don't. None of respect. I'm not going to name things. You can all pick your own, but if they see that, like when likes of Villa and Newcastle dropped into the Championship, they got the parachute payment money. They could have just buy players. In fact, they bought players just to even stop other teams getting them. So they were making damn well sure that they got straight back up. All right. So the issue is going to be around spending, and the other issue is going to be about clubs getting into debt because of that. And what the regulator and what the fans want is to stop teams being owned by madmen, irresponsible owners putting clubs' futures at risk. So that's great and that's commendable, but they're still going to have to get around the table and agree what the limits of spending are going to be. And then some of the other teams are just going to be like, no, we don't want that, because we're not going to have to compete if you're just going to let the bigger clubs spend what they like, and we can't compete with that. So it's going to be tricky. But
it's already started in regards to the pointing the people are running this independent. So government I've just read an article here on BBC's website, which was published on the 2nd of June last month, inquiring into the actual chair of this independent regulator, because apparently it's alleged he funded the Labour Party during the election. And now
let me clutch my pearls in shookedness.
So this is already embroiled in people questioning the people involved in running it.
Well, you could just see that with the votes, though. You know, when the votes in the thing came up, you could see that the Labour, they all voted for it, and Conservatives voted against it.
It's it'll be.
Oh, not all. If that was general, a very high percentage.
Yeah.
It'll be questioned and questioned and questioned. Yeah. And like I said 10 minutes ago, clubs like Morecambe, us, clubs will disappear at Bury, the original Scarborough, which is now an Aldi where the McCain Stadium was. They will just disappear and have to resurrect themselves, and they'll be forgotten.
Let's go through those final questions I've favorited there, Ash. There's been some good points from the listeners there.
Lex, not going to happen. It's the committee.
It's the committee. Yep. Carry on. There's a load of them.
Ash Green, I had vegan pies and now I'm panicking.
Good.
The owner's been on. Old Dejphon has been on. How disrespectful. I got you to Wembley in 2016, remember?
And then financially ruin Hull as recompense. Oh, well played, Deps.
John Wakefield, name 3 independent regulators that currently improve something. I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Get that as a tattoo, John.
Isn't there an independent regulator for the price of gas and oil in the UK?
Off-gen.
Off-gen, yeah. That was supposed to keep the prices down. And
there's one for electricity and gas as well. Yeah. There's petrol. Doing a grand bang-up job, lads.
Yeah, well done. Fuck's sake.
Paddy knows Alan from Mexborough. He's a good lad.
Well, he better get the bloody price of season tickets down.
And the last one, this is Pits and Pizzas. With sanctions fudge, we could be staring at League Two if we were to wait 7 to 9 months.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's where the folly lies, right? So on one hand, unfortunately, I like being balanced, right? I don't like being polarized. I don't like sitting in a camp. But the choice here to make is, this is the gamble, isn't it, right? Do we wait for the independent regulator to come in before Chansiri signs the I'm leaving papers, right? And then we become a emergency case with off fam or whatever it's called, right? And wait for this independent regulator to come in? Or do we go, do you know what, John? Do you know what? What's his first? It's Tilman. We're going to take your money and we're just going to balls out trust you, because I think we have to, because we might be in League Two by the time the regulator comes in, and that's the gamble, and that's where we have to sit. And I don't like either.
I don't think there is a gamble, because we've got no choice. If the regulator's coming in, but who knows when the actual drop dead date do you know what I mean? Because it's going to take months to get everything together, isn't it? It's not I think they voted on it, and it's got to go through other couple of bits. So it might be 6 months till they say it might be January the 1st. They go, right, from now on, this is the independent flight. I don't know how it works like, but we can't wait that. We can't wait a week, really. We need bloody owners now. So I don't think we've got, there's no gamble. It's we just need them.
Suck it and see, innit?
At the end of the day, I think Pits and Pizza has put a comment which we haven't seen yet, but he basically says, whatever happens, we still need a new owner, which is absolutely right. You know, whether the regulator come in and say, that's really bad what happened to Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, it is, but we need a new owner, because if we don't, we're gone.
Yeah. There you are, Daniel.
Exactly that, yeah.
Sorry, folks, my earphones are. I've got these new earphones, and they're giving me the right ump. They just keep cutting out. And but I think I got the gist of what you were saying. But that does go back right to the point, doesn't it? We would still need a new owner. And in terms of where your thought process is, which camp do you sit in? Do we wait, or do we just go for it? You know what I mean? Ashley, do you have any other business?
We all have some, but yeah. There's been, anyone saw a couple of weeks ago, we ran a last man standing type. What's the word? I'm trying to think. Not last man, competition type thing for the Club World Cup, and that obviously finished last night with Chelsea winning, and that meant that our own Dan Fudge took the jackpot because he had Chelsea.
Must admit, that did surprise me. I thought Paris Saint-Germain were going to absolutely batter them. To sweepstake being the word. Thanks, Stu.
Thank you, Stu.
Now,
I knew it.
In terms of history and background and things like that into these two potential owners, Stevie did put together some great graphics, so I urge you to get ready on the screen grab. John Textor is on screen right now, and there's his list of sports ownerships and his notable investments and reasons to be excited and reasons to be cautious. Steve has done some great work there, and screen grab that. And then the next one is obviously Tilman Fertitta, in terms of his billions that he's got. Again, reasons to be excited. Ranked 18th richest sports team owner with a background in Major League sports ownership. If Tilman comes in, we're talking richer than a lot of Premier League clubs. And reasons to be cautious. Reviews from fans and industry suggest it can be polarizing and inflexible. I don't think mega rich people take a lot of advice from Alan from Exeter, and then if he doesn't take your advice, we'll go, well, he don't listen, does he? You know what I mean? It's like being the manager at work and having to be the guy that says no, and all of a sudden you're the prick. Do you know what I mean? It's that's how it works. However, let's finish on some happier news. We have sold an exorbitant amount of tickets for Owls in the Yard. If you look on all of our socials and our output, we've put the ticket link up there. If you search into Eventbrite, Owls in the Yard, on the 3rd of April, in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks time, innit?
August,
we'll be running our inaugural Owls in the Yard, first and last, I hope, because this is causing me stress levels only known by fighter pilots. We've just had a confirmation of the legend player that's going to be joining us on the day. Trust me, you're going to want to see that one. And then we've also booked the band. We're going to play some music bingo. We've got fairground rides. We're going to do we've got food. We've got street food. And bear in mind, ladies and gents, nobody hates the phrase more than street food like I do, but that is the proper stuff where you're actually stood about, you know what I mean? Then you're not walking into a restaurant being expected to tip and then they give you barbecue wings in a dustbin and then go, oh, we're doing street food, proper stuff. You know what I mean? And then there'll be pints. So if you want to bring the kids early, it's about 1 o'clock, and then we're going to move to grown-ups and then an after party up until 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Get involved. I'm really excited about it. It'd be nice to put some names to faces from you lot that keep commenting as well. Guys, I think that's it. I think we got through that really well. Anybody else have anything to add?
I have one more thing, Daniel, if that's all right. If you've seen, again, on that, because we do everything on socials, that there is the FSA Awards nominations are out again. So if you would like to vote for us, that would be very much appreciated. You don't have to, but if you feel that we offer you value for money, and we best do it because it's all free. So we do offer value for money, and you like what we do, and you appreciate it. If you could go on the link that we'll put out again tomorrow, probably.
It's on the link tree, Ash. It is on the link tree next to the
link tree?
tickets. Yes, I've done it. I did it.
Oh, thank you very much. Go on there. Just drop your name, address. I think you have to put your details in, and just why you like the show. If you do, if you don't like the show, just vote for us anyway, and just lie on there and say we're all 7 very handsome people that do the podcast and appreciate what we do for free. So thank you very much.
Appreciate you. John, Simon, Ash, thanks a lot for joining me tonight. You guys out there, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. That was a nice little show, that quite wrapped up. In the interim, see you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
I met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your